Student talk, I think, is the critical element in the classroom. If our students aren't talking, they're not learning. Teachers were coming with lots of concerns and lots of things that they were noticing about how their students were changing or how things were changing in the classroom and concerned about it, but we just didn't really know where the first step was. So at that point, as an instructional coach, that was a key for me to say, let's start there. Let's go in and see what's happening. And really what I saw across our middle school was a more traditional form of teaching. And so that was a great place to start the conversation about, well, what are you asking your students to do? And so I just started looking really hard at what TeachFX did. I approached our principal, and our principal was excited about the opportunity of being able to move that needle in the middle school.
It has really improved my instruction, actually, because it keeps me very task-oriented. With all the things that it tells you, I was like, okay, now let me kind of try this. Let me see if I can get the kids talking a little more. Let me see if I could get them in groups. Let me see if I can get them walking around. So since I've started using it, the red bar, I believe it is, was, let's just say this big. And the kid bar was really, really small. Now it's kind of flipped.
My planning is almost more intentional. If I know that I'm going to record, it's almost like more intentional. Like I need to give them time to talk. And I think that helps a lot. Just having that nudge of, okay, we need classroom discourse today because we need to record.
Because my very first recording, I noticed, I think I asked 22 questions, but the student talk time was way down. And so I realized that I was either taking the first good answer and then I was running with it, or I wasn't waiting long enough.
So there was a couple of years I've been when I teach rhetoric to the kids, and I have a slideshow that I went through. It was ethos, pathos, logos, and we did it every year. And it was just, one of those lessons that's like, oh, this is an easy lesson, just load it into Canvas and go. But when I was using TeachFX, I was like, you know what? This is just me. This is just teacher talk time for almost the entire lesson. So how could I change that? We were able to work in groups and do like some think, pair, share things that I wouldn't have normally thought of. And I changed up a lesson that was years old that needed revamped anyway. Afterward, even my TA came in and she was like, how did you come up with that?
Nice.
What made you think of that? And I was like, TeachFX.
I did a gallery walk. I just put the phone in my pocket and just walked around. That one really seemed to work well, and having them move around and looking at transcript almost like what you provided and the word bubbles and the pictures, the AI pictures you get, that was really, really fun to see.
I love the pictures. And like it motivates me just to push it to see what comes out.
I love the word clouds. I just love to see, and getting the students involved in it too. And they're like, Mrs. Peterson, let me see the word cloud. Did we get the vocabulary words in? And then they always want to see the AI generated image too. So getting them involved and helping them remind me to like, hey, hit record so we can see what the image looks like while we're talking this time.
I think the best thing about it is that it is just whatever you want it to be. Whatever your goals are, whether it's to ask better questions or to allow more space for students to talk, it can be whatever you want it to be. And it's never for anybody else. As you use it, you see that that's really what it is. Yeah, I love it.
Sometimes, you're waiting for your administrators to come and talk to you about how you're doing. But this way, I take ownership of the data. I can look at it and I can fix things before they even come to me. Or I can go to them and say, hey, I noticed this, or my PLCs too, the people that I work with. I can be like, hey, I noticed this in my class. This seems like something that, maybe we could look at, maybe we could fix, but I get to own the data. I get to look at it every single day. I can look at it right after I taught a lesson, and I can adjust as I need to.
The app is listening to me teach. The app is giving me my data. And then with that, I personally can sit down and I can make decisions for my classroom.
TeachFX has certainly taught me that my job is to be the facilitator of education. And I was teaching way more than I was facilitating. With TeachFX, I'm facilitating way more than I'm teaching.
For me to try to figure out how can I do my job and be a support, like this has changed the game for sure.